spoiler alert. The captivating Season 3 finale can be summed up as mind-bending story twists, unexpected revelations, and a good cliffhanger. The popular spooky sci-fi horror program has opened a new Pandora's box, continuing its history of pushing fans to the limit. Thankfully, some of the issues from the pile have been addressed by the series, such as the truth regarding Tabitha's visions and the genesis of the notorious creatures. Even if the Season 3 finale's discoveries were crucial to comprehending the Fromville mythos, they still seem like the beginning of the story. The viewers have been drawn further into the Township's darkness by the latest findings, which have also revealed more enigmatic facts regarding the motivations behind all that occurred. Here's what transpired in the Season 3 finale, from finally comprehending the meaning of the term Anghkooey to the introduction of a new malevolent monster.
I did try to warn you.
Welcome to Movie Spy. Residents of the town were forced to make some impossible decisions. In the finale, people's moral compass goes haywire. The episode kicks off with Boyd and the gang doing everything they can to find Fatima before time runs out for her. As predicted, Elgin's words of empathy to Ellis expose him, and Ellis soon figures out that Elgin knows something. Boyd, Kenny, Donna, Sarah, and Ellis plan to corner Elgin by telling them about Fatima's location. Without wasting time with unnecessary strategies, Boyd cuts to the chase and explains to Elgin that whatever is speaking to him is not his friend. He even has Sarah convince him since she was in his shoes not that long ago. However, Elgin remains resilient, claiming he has faith that whatever is happening to Fatima is the reason they all get to go home. Now, that all sounds too familiar as the exact same ploy that the town pulled on Sarah when the voices in her head convinced her to kill Ethan. Unfortunately, Elgin is confident that his way is different, and he isn't hurting anyone in the process like Sarah did. The issue with Elgin is possibly the most frustrating section of the episode because it's apparent that the confrontation will only turn ugly. That's what happens when, at the spur of the moment, Boyd resorts to torturing information out of Elgin. Despite his belief that the town hasn't yet broken him, Boyd asserts that he will not allow the town to take another one after Father Catherie's ghost warns him that there is no way out of this situation. This is a crucial moment for all the characters involved in the crime because their moral ambiguity is so pronounced in that scene that it's difficult for fans to root for them. If it weren't for Acosta, Boyd might have crossed to the dark side. Having said that, Boyd hammering Elgin's hand isn't even the nastiest part of the ordeal. Seeing how it's crushing Boyd's soul, Sarah takes matters into her own hands, claiming that the town has already taken her soul. But she will not let Boyd lose his. In what might be the most unsettling scene in the entire series, Sarah gouges out one of Elgin's eyes with a screwdriver that forces him to tell Fatima's whereabouts. It's safe to say that Boyd and the gang might have gotten what they wanted, but their choices will have serious consequences in the next season. Fatima did have something in her womb after all. She did not give birth to something human. Fatima's pregnancy has been the season's hottest topic and a point of contention between Ellis, Fatima, and Boyd. It was welcoming news at first, but when the conception caused Fatima to develop an appetite for flesh and blood, it was obvious that something was terribly wrong with her. When Fatima killed Tilly, she was kidnapped by Elgin and kept in the secret room of the root cellar at the kimono lady's behest. Despite her constant pleas, Elgin tells Fatima that she has to give birth to the baby for all of this to end. Unexpectedly, before Boyd and Ellis could reach Fatima, the kimono lady helped her deliver the baby that was still in the sack when the ghostly figure took it down the trap door that Fatima found. The entire scene was an absolute nail-biter, a source of anticipation for the fans who weren't sure if Fatima would even give birth to a human baby. Although the birthing process is quite brief, what comes after is perhaps the reveal that the viewers have been waiting for since Season 1. When Boyd goes after the kimono lady, Fatima tells Ellis that she knows what happened in the town and how the monsters were created. It's implied that the monsters might have been humans once who sacrificed their children to it to gain immortality in return. Without further adding to the perplexing piece of information, the scene cuts to Boyd, who follows the kimono lady down to the tunnels where the monsters reside. Before his eyes, Boyd witnesses the disturbing birth of the infamous Smiley monster, who grows and bursts out of the sack within minutes. Fans might remember that Boyd killed Smiley in Season 2 after he transfused it with the infected blood he got from Martin. This astoundingly ties to what happened to Fatima and the secret she learned about the monsters. Victor clearly stated in Episode 8 that the children were born and killed in the dark by people they trusted. Fatima says that it promised them that they'd live forever if they sacrificed their children, which they did. Since they couldn't be killed, the Township somewhat planted a seed in Fatima to bring back Smiley from the dead, thus restoring the cycle as it should have been. Jade finally figures out the meaning behind the numbers in the bottle. His and Tabitha's connection is finally explained. The bottle tree has been central to the Fromville lore since the beginning. The only headway it made was back when Tabitha found Victor's father in Season 3, and he told her about the bottle tree Miranda had made in their backyard. When Jade found out that the bottles contained messages, he assumed that the numbers on them were codes that he could decipher. Most of Jade's arc in Season 3 has been about cracking the code and being plagued by the visions of dead people. Both Jade and Tabitha believe that the numbers have been deliberately put in there by someone who wishes to tell them something. After Victor remembers the boy in white's conversation with Christopher, Tabitha implies that the tree has a connection to the children and that the messages might point them in the right direction. After claiming he has tried every possible numerical cipher there is, Jim suggests that maybe they were the notes on the musical scale. That's when it clicks for Jade. Since he already knows how to play the violin, it was only a matter of time before the dots connected. Jim, Tabitha, and Jade decide to play the melody that they deciphered from the notes near the bottle tree, since that's where the kids appear. Despite Jim's protest not to pursue playing the melody because of what happened with the music box, Jade and Tabitha convince him that this was the best lead they had. Just as they expected, when Jade plays the peculiar melody, the ghoulish children appear. As Jade's notes fill the deafening silence of the woods, memories start to flood Tabitha's mind and the fog finally clears. The word Anghkooey wasn't a secret code to something but a simple plea: remember. The children wanted Jade and Tabitha to remember what happened so they could finally save them. Fans finally know the secret of the ghoulish children. The secret of Anghkooey comes to light. Although From has yet to offer fans clarity over the final episode's revelation, the pieces have finally aligned enough for viewers to conjure a concrete understanding of the town's lore. When the children appeared to Tabitha, their meeting triggered her memories, and surprisingly Jade's too. Overwhelmed, Tabitha flees, but Jim forces her to explain what has happened. She finally reveals that the reason why she and Jade could see the children was because they had been there before. She was Miranda, and Jade was Christopher in their past life, and they have been coming back to the town because they failed the first time. As fans swallow this staggering revelation, Tabitha drops another bomb, claiming that the reason why they remember is because she and Jade had a daughter they couldn't save. Tabitha, being Miranda's reincarnation of sorts, was one thing, but having a past life with Jade and being the most authentic connection to the Township was baffling. They weren't random victims at all. Instead, they were patient zero, as they were there when whatever sinister thing went down maybe centuries ago. Besides this magnanimous disclosure, the most shocking aspect of the finale was the climactic sequence. As Jim processes this information, he suddenly sees a frantic Julie running to him. If Jim had had time to assess, he would have noticed that Julie seemed different from the last time everyone saw her. She had shorter hair, different clothes, and a scar on her face. She tells her father to run, but a mysterious figure interrupts their conversation. It's a tall man in a yellow suit. He almost looks like one of the monsters who come at night. But this guy was walking in broad daylight. This shadowy figure repeats his cryptic message to Jim that he heard back in Season 1 when Tabitha dug that hole. However, before he can confront the man in yellow, this monstrous figure brutally slits Jim's throat, ending the season on a surreal note. Though many questions were asked, many more have arisen that fans will have to wait for come Season 4. Thanks for watching.